ham boning in the streets, ham boning. We're just slapping our meats, we're ham boning. We're going all day. We're all ham boning and we're all gay.
I want to know how that sounds because it'd be fun.
That sounds fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Is that recording?
Good. Yes.
That's a cold open. Go for it.
You're listening to the official Brain Dead podcast with
Oliver,
Grant,
Giles,
Jared, and Billy.
And if you're loving what you're listening to, please follow us on Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. And while you're at it, go on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Enjoy.
This is the Brain Dead podcast, and we're having our fourth video game episode. Seems to be a trend there, and we're talking about a series that pretty much everyone in this room has had a deep connection with for a while. So we've all been playing the Monster Hunter series, like at least since like World came out. I know Giles started with World, and then did you start with World, Jared? Where did you start?
Oh, shit.
Wasn't it Freedom Unite?
I think it was that. I played.
Did you have a PS Vita?
Yeah.
It was on PSP.
Oh, was it?
PSP.
Okay.
But I do have a PS Vita.
I was about to make fun of you. You have a PS Vita?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Jared likes those models.
It's good for anime games.
I love portable gaming. To me, I enjoy it much more than like console gaming.
Do you have a Switch?
No, because I'm
What the
not.
fuck is wrong with you?
I'm not a fan of Nintendo stuff
That's
too
fair.
much.
That's fair.
Well, consoles are massive over in this side of the world, and like handheld is huge over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like the market there is just massive.
Yeah.
But the Switch is going to have uncensored hentai games.
That's true too. Did you hear about that one?
The Vita also has uncensored hentai games.
Yeah,
but this
the
one's better.
Switch does too.
PlayStation did
What
it
makes
first.
it better
It's from
that I had to
Nintendo.
buy it from Nintendo? It's Nintendo branded hentai games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
That
ever
just
played?
makes it $70 more than what it needs to be.
You ever played
do
Senran
you
Kagura?
mean?
What?
Senran Kagura?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
How did we get
Okay.
here from
Anyways,
Monster
Monster
Hunter?
Hunter. We just talked about his original experience with Monster Hunter being on the handheld.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
Well, so for me, I started playing with 3 because Oliver and Grant got me on it. They had already put like a solid 200 hours into 3 Ultimate when I hopped on.
Yeah.
And I played about 90 hours of it, and then 4 came out, and then we all bought it.
Yeah, I got the game by accident. I got the game because Jack got the game. And I guess he got like 2 copies of it. He just gave me one.
Yeah, because he wanted to try it.
Yeah, and he vaguely got into it.
I wanted to try it because I think at that same time was when Game Grumps was doing like a short series with like the 4 of them on it, and I was like, this looks cool. I like this concept. But I had a Wii U. Nobody else had a Wii U, and I didn't realize you could do the DS and the Wii U like cross play with that one. And then when you got it, I was like, fuck it, we can both play together. And then
me, you, and Logan like spent hours playing it.
On 3, didn't you have to have a Switch or a Wii U in order to play together?
Nope, didn't have to.
No, because the DSs have always had a way to connect to each other.
I think you had to have the Wii U to like play online.
That's right.
Yeah,
like over distances, but that was bad anyways.
That was just the way we always played it. It would
Still
be
kind of bad for most.
Nintendo's pretty.
Is it better
now?
now?
Yeah, with the Switch, it's pretty good now.
Don't you have to like buy a separate adapter to make that?
No, you just have to have a subscription, and
No,
it's like
not like-
$20 for a year.
Plus, they have the local wireless play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I thought like, isn't there a product that like makes the connection better? Am I wrong about that?
I mean, you could plug it up wired.
I'm pretty sure there's like there were like they made it for when like Smash came out and they started doing Smash like like this. When the Switch got big into the Smash game, apparently there was this like adapter you could buy that Nintendo, pushed out. That was like it made the connections better, so you lost less. Like you had less lag in matches.
Maybe again, all I know is that they did a wired connector, like a LAN cable type of hookup.
kind of like for the old Game Boy or something.
Yeah, but I don't care much for that. I mean, me and Giles played online with Smash, and it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine, except you kicking my ass.
Yeah. But yeah, I think everybody besides Giles started playing Monster Hunter on handhelds, and I think we can all say that the experience is definitely different with how Monster Hunter World went about the controls and just the feel of that one in general compared to the other ones.
What's funny about Giles' experience with Monster Hunter is it took us so long to like get him to play convince him to play it before it came out, and now this man has put more hours in than I probably have it like in any.
To
Monster
be
Hunter
fair,
game.
Giles has been hurt
Listen,
before.
He was coming down from the betrayal of Destiny.
I was hearing a lot of good things and not a lot of skepticism, like safe skepticism. And I was getting met with the "How dare you insult the goodwill of this god amongst games?" I'm like, this sounds like Destiny.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, but it sounds familiar. And then it wasn't. Now I have 800 hours in it.
Yeah, I do find it funny that it's like Giles met this game with the most skepticism and has put the most time into it. And I feel like out of the group here, Billy had the most praise for it before it even came out. And I feel like Billy has one of the lower put in hours on this
He's
game.
building
You,
back up, though.
you
Well, okay,
recently got back
okay,
into it, but you
here's
had a
what happened.
hiatus there.
Here's what happened. One of my friends lost my original disc, and I didn't have the game
Your
for
friend
like
still
a
owes
solid
you money.
like 6 months.
You gotta make him at least. You gotta at least make him buy you Iceborne. Oh, I'm
Your
sorry.
friend owes you something for literally just losing one of
It's
your
only
games.
$40.
I love all of you here, but if one of you were just like, yeah, that thing you like, I just fucking ditched it. I'd be like, all right, pay me or buy
Yeah.
me another.
It's just like Dead Island.
What happened with Dead Island?
Nothing happened with Dead Island. We just played that one night.
It was $5.
I know.
We'll download it again and play it if you want
No.
tonight.
It was what was
Why
weird
would
about
you
it
want
wasn't the
to?
$5. It was that we were playing it. We were like, yeah, and then the next day, y'all had bought a different game.
We
And I was
bought
like,
Dying
all right.
Light.
All right,
I
never
tried
mind
to
then.
convince you to buy that one, but you said,
No,
no, that's too much money.
I just bought a game.
No, we tried to
I just
convince you
bought
beforehand. It was
$5
like
game.
$10. That one was $10, and you were like, I'd rather spend the $5 than the $10.
It was $20.
Was it $20?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
20
so it's
to
still
5.
more, but still.
But no,
And
I'm not gonna
again,
buy
there wasn't a
$20
lot of
game.
like, yeah, like I didn't, I wasn't like dedicated into it yet.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
Well, fuck it. We'll download it and play it tonight. Anyways, Monster Hunter.
So the premise of the game, for anyone that hasn't played it, because I know it's kind of a niche type of experience.
It's getting more out there
grown.
now. Yeah.
It definitely has with Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World really brought it in into a lot more of the limelight. It was already big, like I said, in like the people that.
there was a
David
cult
Grant.
fan base in the United States, and there was a huge fan base, and it has been for a while in Japan because again, handheld gaming is more popular there, and as it was a handheld game, it was definitely something that people took to. Universal Studios Japan has a Monster Hunter themed section. That's how big Monster Hunter is over where
I've been saying
it's originated.
forever that we should go to Universal to Japan just to eat the Monster Hunter.
I only want to go to
I'd be down.
Universal Japan to try the Monster Hunter food.
Insert inside joke here.
Well, okay. So the basis of the game is like half of the game is basically preparing for the hunts, and then making sure you have all the right equipment and everything, and then going in and actually fighting the monsters and getting all the stuff you need for it.
You hunt monster.
Boom.
There's Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
really is as simple as that, and it's a concept that, like, even though it's simple, if you like, see, the complaint I hear from people that like tried World out and didn't like World is typically like, there's too many menus, there's too much like switching through stuff and looking at stats, and I understand that, but if you're someone who like can enjoy an RPG and they know what they're getting into, it's a simple enough game to just pick up and enjoy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, though I vaguely remember the stories of a couple of the ones I've played, most of them are as cut as far as narrative content goes. Most of them are as cut and dry as like, you're the new person in town. This is a world in which we have to hunt these large beasts to survive because they either mess with our trade routes. Some of them are genuinely dangerous and ruin environments and ecosystems we live in.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
The newest one is that you're doing research. It's
yeah,
more
for
of
a
a
new
research thing.
this one's more like a pilgrimage to like
A
why
new
it's called
continent.
New World is because it's like a pilgrimage to a place they haven't been before and they're trying to basically colonize it.
That's why, aside from like some of the flagship monsters like the Rathalos and I think, are there any other older monsters? in
Uragan
this
is an
game?
older monster.
Devil Joe, Raytheon.
Devil Joe.
Yeah, so there's a handful of monsters that are considered flagship, and when we say flagship, we
Some
mean-
Elder Dragons. All the
Yeah.
Elder Dragons except for Narco Group. The fucking Spiky Boy.
Oh wait, Nergigante?
Yeah, and I guess Valhazak.
Valhazak
is
is New Elven
the
Dragon.
mountain,
Yeah.
the main monster you're hunting.
Yeah. Well, so
Zora
by,
Magnaros.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
so by flagship we mean it's a monster that has been established as a like
Essentially, the
It's-
cover
it's-
athlete of
yeah,
the game.
Yeah, it's a signature monster. It's like you think Monster Hunter, you think Rathalos, you think like, you know. You
Well,
think,
they've
you
been
think
on the cover.
You think Tigrex. You think it's like the main monsters that kind of define Monster Hunter.
Well, the flagship is different for each game because it's whoever's on the cover is like the main, I guess, antagonist of that specific game.
Yeah, like,
So, like,
for
for-
Ultimate, Gore Magala was like the
The
big
flagship. With
that-
Generation U, they had 4 flagship monsters because they had 4 different ones that they were like, this is what we're selling the game on. And then 3 was Legicarus or Legiacris. But
We called it Legicarus for so long, and
it's
we
hard to
knew-
break that
yeah.
habit.
Mhm.
And then 3 was the Brachytos.
Just like Zenogre, we used to call Zingor for the longest
Yeah.
time.
I think it sounds better, but maybe that's my ape brain that's
Yeah.
telling me to say it.
But yeah, I find Monster Hunter genuinely interesting because and they've been doing this for a while, but like you see in like video games in recent years how, like, for instance, Call of Duty, I forget which one, like dropped their story completely and just did
Black Ops 4.
multiplayer and just did like focused on that aspect of the thing. And I feel like Monster Hunter is definitely a game that's been like all about like the gameplay is more what you're going in for, and like the customizing your armor and weapons and
The
and,
multiplayer
like,
is a mechanic
and
of the
grinding
game,
and
though.
hunting.
Yeah.
But like it's never been story heavy, but it's always been at least for the group of us here and a lot of people, it's been enticing, and it's been very like Monster Hunter World I've put 500 hours into. Like it's a game I keep going back to and I keep playing, but like I've long gone finished any kind of story plot it's had so far. So it's like I feel like
It doesn't
it's
have to have a
interesting
story to
think
keep
about.
it going.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about that because like if not that, like what would you guys say is like the thing that like keeps you into that game? Like as far as if it's not the story and it is about the the way the game makes you feel when you play it, what kind of mood does it put you in that like keeps you coming back to it and keeps you playing it? Hunting monsters? Yeah.
For me, it's so it's like you said, it's not like narrative heavy. There's nothing story wise that brings me back. It's I don't know, because like it's easy to pick up and put down for us because we played so much of it, and it's easy to just instantly get back into it. Like the other day was my first time playing it in like a month or two, and the first thing I hunted was a Lunestra solo, and I kicked its ass. It's one of those things where like when you come back to it, you feel at home again. And though I stopped playing for bits of time because like I don't know, some dry content. Like there might be some times where they've not added anything new. They might do some events, but I'm like, I'll sleep on it. It's when I do get back into it, I at least find something new that I want to do. So like right now, I'm trying out a completely new weapon class. I'm trying to get a set built on that weapon class. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Something new. There's always something you can do.
There's what, like 12 different weapons?
14, I think.
There's 14 different weapons, and they all have their own distinctive style, and there's like a million different builds around each weapon. So like it's the way you make a build is you find different there's like 5 different armor pieces. There's like helm, braces, chest, legs, all that kind of stuff, and they each give you different stats and different boosts, and your goal is to find a way to play with that weapon that fits your play style. So like I play bow mainly, so there's a move called the Dragon Piercer, which is where you charge up a shot and then it will shoot straight to the monster and do damage the entire way through, and you can build a class based around that. Or like I can build one that's just strictly like a thing called Constitution, which determines like your stamina and just allows you to just like makes you a DPS, and it's just a really solid system.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I think the grind is definitely something we all can get into and get around. As far as it's just nice to get on and work on something and talk to your friends, and it's something I feel like all of us at this point can just play without really thinking too hard about what we're doing, depending on what we're fighting.
I look at Twitter.
Yeah, Jared apparently looks at Twitter a lot while we're doing it.
And I guess the reason that's interesting is because it's not a mindless game. There's tons of people that get into this game and they're like, this game's fucking hard. It's just, again, I wouldn't say we're like great at the game, but we've put so much time into it that it's like almost second nature. I mean,
it's a game that definitely rewards you for figuring out how to play it more than it rewards you for just putting time into it.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where like if you don't get any better at fighting the monster, you've gone nowhere. Like you just have to mechanically get better and like read what you're fighting better and stuff like that. Because like, you know, one of the big sellers that like people who like describe it to people is like, oh, it's like every fight you get into is a boss fight. Like
because it is kind of a boss rush.
Every monster is a different boss. You just have to learn how they maneuver, and you gotta play around that play style.
Well, and what's interesting about that too is, like you said, you have to learn how to read each monster because like there's no health bar. There's no
for the monster.
Yeah, for the monster.
Yeah.
So like the monster, you don't know when it's going to die. You don't get numbers that flash up. Except,
You do.
I guess for the
Damage. You do damage.
Yeah, you
for
don't see
damage
you don't see a declining health
do you get
bar
that
for
through
the
all of
monster.
them? I guess you do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't. pay
World
attention to
added
it.
damage
Yeah.
numbers.
So that's new
It
to
used
that
to not
one.
be a thing.
But you don't see like, I don't know. You don't, other than like physical like
Like limping
fatigue or things
Yeah.
like that. You don't really get
It
like
feels natural.
yeah.
The way it shows a monster weakening, like it'll run out of breath, you break parts on it,
Drop
stuff like
pods.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are times where you think you still probably another 10-15 minutes ahead of you fighting, and all of a sudden one person gets a solid hit, and it's like, oh, this thing's dead.
They died.
Like, and it's like you can tell that it was getting tired because you could see that it was breathing heavier, you could see that it was limping, but it's like you don't really have a good basis other than that to tell when the monster is going to die.
Yeah, and it's because you get better that like you can get better stuff to then like take a monster say you used to struggle against and just like completely destroy it, or a monster that used to take you some time and just like, you know, kill it within like 2 minutes of the hunt being started. And it's just satisfying to like, it's a satisfying in that grind sense that like the grind is really there and like you can really feel the progression of your gear. And like I know there's just some games out there where like the grind is like, oh, you progress pretty slowly, but like, you know over time you will get better at it. But I feel like Monster Hunter is a very, like if you play for like 50 hours of Monster Hunter, there's a stark difference in like the equipment and the ability you have 50 hours from now from when you started
The
playing.
main draw coming from Destiny was Destiny's all about RNG. You do an activity, you might get what you want. You might grab this thing, or you might waste your time. A lot of it's wasting time, but in Monster Hunter, you have a actual goal to get there, and like a literal tree on how to get to it.
As far as equipment goes.
Okay, that's true about 90% of the time.
99.
Okay, so there are certain parts of a monster that are rare to get. So like there's gems and rubies that you get for killing certain
Plagues,
monsters.
things like that. Yeah.
There's RNG in the reward system, but there's not
Yeah.
RNG in the building system.
Yeah.
So I needed a Rathalos ruby to finish off a set one time, and I swear for 3 days straight, me, Jared, Oliver, and Giles committed Rathalos genocide. That's the only thing we killed for 3 days straight. Oliver got like 6 or 7 rubies in that
did.
time, and then it took me to get 1. That is the only frustrating part, but it's like once you finally get that item, it is just the most satisfying thing to be able to move on.
You weren't petting Poogie right.
Yeah, no.
What I will say about that though is like comparatively, at least there is some skill in that same regard. Like, because what Monster Hunter does do with that is like if you break specific parts or you do specific things, it does heighten the chance at that.
Yeah,
So,
it's
I
like
mean,
if
though
you-
it may still be RNG and you
Yeah.
may still be getting fucked up by that. Like if you bust the head or you break the tail or you cut off the tail or whatever, you know, you still get a higher chance.
Yeah,
of
it's like-
getting that.
I know for certain monsters, it's like if you break the head and the back, it increases your chance of getting a plate or a ruby by like 20%. And it's like if you don't really break anything, which it's bound to happen, but
Yeah, it's hard to fight a
It's,
monster
yeah,
and break nothing.
it's hard to not break it, like break something, but
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah.
So if you just don't break anything, you're not going to get jack shit rewards wise, and the chance of getting anything rare is basically like less than 1%.
Yeah, I remember I was on a real hard grind in, I think it was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, where I really needed Raytheon plates, and I wasn't getting any.
And it was just
so
tossing them at me.
I just queued up the same mission over and over again, where it was hunt 2 Raytheons, and I would cut off both their tails and carve from them. And if I didn't get anything, I would just quickly murder them, go back and do the same thing again. Like, because it was like, oh, plates usually come from the tail, so I just kept, like, I just made a build specifically to chop off the tail as fast as I could, see if I got the plate. And if I got the plate, once I got the plate, I just quit the mission, because you keep anything you carve. And I didn't need any more Raytheon parts at that point. So yeah, no, RNGesus sometimes isn't your friend, but that is why you have to pet Poopy.
I will say one thing that I do miss from like old Monster Hunters that the new one I guess kind of did away with was the actual hunting of the monster. Like, I don't feel like you ever really have to track them down in this one once you... I guess starting out you kind of have to, because you have to like get their tracks and their scent and things, but like once you get your bugs leveled up, like I feel like it pretty much just says, hey, the monster's here.
That, and what really surprised me about it, because I've heard all these things about Monster Hunter games, like, oh, you spend a little bit of time hunting the monster. I quickly picked up, if you do the same mission or same quest, they're always in the same spot, doing the exact same thing, doing the exact same motions. Like, we were hunting Legiana's, like,
same spot every single time.
Basil Goose is coming down. I can almost count it without even looking. It's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, dung pod. He screams, he leaves. 3 seconds later, shoot a flash pod in the air. He falls. Every time.
4 flash pods all at once.
With the old Monster Hunter, they could spawn anywhere in the map.
They had the preferred spots percentage-wise, but they could spawn anywhere.
Yeah, and so you'd have to go in, like, there was even, like, foods you could eat that would be like, oh, it'll tell you where he is. Like, you'd have to get that ability. I felt like that was another thing with the old games, too, is that different meals were also very important.
What was that called? Psycho Serum?
Yeah.
Was it Psycho Serum?
Something like that.
Yeah, in the old ones?
You ate it, and it, like, it pinged where the monster was.
Yeah, Psycho Serum, and then you could actually do a meal that gave you, I think it was called, I want to say it was called Oracle or something like that, and it would show you on the map when you started. And then they did, in at least, I think 4 in Generations, where you would go around the map and there'd be like the blimp up top, and if there were an Elder Dragon in the map, you could wave at the blimp, and then it would show you on the map where they are, so they would like spot it for you.
Yeah, World definitely came, like, it put forth a lot of like quality of life stuff. So like you used to have to go out, and there's a thing called whetstone, and your weapons have affinity, which is where they've got like, you know, once you get to higher levels, they'll have like a clear, they'll have like a white.
You meant sharpness.
Yeah, white sharpness. So you said affinity.
Yeah, not affinity.
Affinity's crit rate.
Yeah, affinity is your chance of doing getting a critical hit. But so your sharpness, it's like the better the sharpness is, the more damage you put, and if it gets low enough, you can get to a point where you're just bouncing off the monster, you're not even hitting him.
Which you still get in the new game.
Yeah, but it's like you don't have to go out and grab whetstone anymore to sharpen your weapon mid battle. You just have a permanent whetstone.
Which is fine. I get that one. I think the reason they got rid of like the hunting was because they wanted these ones to seem faster. Because now, like, what most mission time is what, like 35 minutes?
55.
Was that the standard time?
Standard time is 55 minutes.
Is it really?
Standard mission time is 55 minutes.
I feel like it lasts.
I feel like it can be as short as 15. It can be as short as 15 and as long as 55. But 55 is the standard, unless you're doing an investigation that lowers it to 30 or 15.
Yeah.
But that's just like this is a little bit of a harder one.
And a lot of some Elder Dragon fights are 30.
And I feel like I had the issue with time a lot more in the older ones, though. Because you actually had to hunt it.
There's only like one monster in the world that I've timed out of.
Yeah.
To be fair, with Elder Dragons, for the most part...
You know what I'm talking about, Jared.
Elder Dragons tend to stick to very specific areas. So, like...
And they did in the old games, too. Most Elder Dragon fights in the old games, there was no hunt. It was just you went into the arena of whatever it was. It was a boss level.
It's like the Xenojiva fight.
Yeah.
You're stuck like with one area. They leave that area, and then you immediately go to the new area that they're in.
Because I remember the Gormagala in 4 had its own like special like tornado darkness
arena
thing.
Yeah.
Sounds rad.
And the other ones, cool. There was a lot of the fire ones that had their own like lava arena that was just huge.
Yeah, you would like the Gormagala if you've never seen what that looks like.
It looks like. Did you watch Berserk?
Yeah.
It looks like Griffin from Berserk, but
Oh.
in a
It's a
monster.
cool monster. It's got winged hands,
How would
and
you
it's also
spell
got regular
that?
hands.
Gorema.
And it
It
should
sounded
be a
out.
Magala.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
See,
phonetical.
So I already said my preferred weapon. I like to stick to the bow. I used the switch axe for a while, then I used the charge blade, and then I got back into Monster Hunter and picked up the bow. So what is like everyone's? If you had to pick one weapon to only use.
my main is switch axe all the way. I've been using that since I started. I still use it a whole bunch. I've gotten into the bow guns in World because the controls are better, and I do like the guns. But if I only had one, I love the switch axe. It's really good.
Yeah, the camera controls for Monster Hunter used to not be great because you used to only have one
Hit
joystick.
that D button.
I bought the fancy DS that had the second analog stick.
Yeah,
so
so
that made
Wasn't it
things
an
really easier.
attachment?
No,
Oh, there was
no.
one that was an attachment.
So that's
you
what
were talking about.
That's
the
what
little-
Logan and stuff had. I had the little.
Yeah.
It was like old PCs that had old
Yeah.
laptops that had like the nipple in the
buttons
middle of the
and
screen
yeah.
that you'd have to like move around. That's what it was on
That's
that
not
DS.
a joystick.
It's not.
It's not.
It's
a
not.
fucking.
It helped.
It
but
was
not a
it was
joystick.
better than trying to control it with the little shitty D-pad they had on the touchscreen on the bottom of the DS.
I never did that anyways.
That's-
It was always the lock-on button where it was just like centered at them.
The
Yeah.
water fights, they used to have underwater battles
Uh-huh.
in 3 like that were a nightmare because you would have to swim around in this like
3D
big open area.
environment.
I wonder
Yeah.
how playing Lance would work in water.
I think that's probably why they got rid of it.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I mean,
the
Lance.
well,
this
no,
isn't
the-
the first game with
the
Lance.
water-
It's the first game with Lance that. Well, no. So that's what I'm saying. They got rid of the water when they brought in the Lance.
Is that when
Lance
when's
has
Lance
been
come in?
a
Lance was not in a water one.
When did Lance?
Lance was in 3.
No, it wasn't. Lance came in 4 because I remember us being excited about new weapon types. Charge Blade and Lance were not in 3.
I promise you, Lance was in
I'm
3
looking it up
because I
now.
made Lance builds in 3.
Oh wait, sorry, my bad. I'm a dumbass. I'm thinking Glaive.
Oh,
Yeah, Glaive and
okay.
Charge Blade were
Okay.
brand new.
No.
Lance was in that though.
Yeah.
That
Because
is
I remember
correct.
we switched to Gun Lance.
We were both
because-
like,
yeah.
Lance has been
No,
in all
no,
the
yeah.
games.
No,
Okay.
I was thinking Glaive. I always.
Okay. Insect
Oh,
Glaive,
yeah.
Glaive, and Charge Blade were new to 4.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Because Lance is what we did for the Devil Joe.
That makes a lot more sense. I was like, buddy, we used Lance to
Yeah.
defeat Devil Joe.
No, Lance worked fine. It just thrusted you underwater. It was just
Yeah.
a little thrust.
Sounds-
Either way,
Glaive wouldn't work
I was
underwater.
thinking more blocking.
Yeah.
the
Just-
water.
yeah.
You just
The water environments where I feel like I read this somewhere, I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure the water environments were just because at the time they couldn't make the 3D environments they had in 4 where you had ledges and stuff. And as soon as that, like, they could make ledges and stuff, they were like, we don't really like the water mechanics anyway, so they did away with that. I feel like it was just a way to make that 3D environment that they wanted,
Well,
but they didn't
yeah.
have a way to make good geometry
Yeah.
ledges and stuff until they got to 4.
Well, and there was no verticality at the time, so they didn't,
Yeah.
because like I said, they didn't have the glaive, so
Yeah.
there was no jump in and doing crazy stuff really.
I feel like if they reintroduced the water battles, it'd be a lot smoother now. Just
It depends.
I think they would still have to redo the system for it, but with the actual console controllers, I think it would be a lot.
It'd be better,
smoother.
but
What did it
a
look-
lot of people don't like
So, like,
swimming
could
levels
you-
in general.
Could you die, like, dodge while underwater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did? What
You
It was
had-
just like a
Yeah, you would
just-
basically just like swim
Lunge
to the
underwater.
left.
You
were
swim
just, like, a
away,
little
or-
slower.
This sounds dumb.
You
Yeah,
could.
but
It was literally the same combat that was on land. You could just go up and down.
It didn't work well. And again, the fact that they got rid of it when they brought in, the better geometry and the verticality stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it did not work well. Anyway,
I will say there were some cool monsters that were water specific that who knows when we will fully get them.
Yeah,
back.
I mean, Lagiacrus was water-y, but, like, it had a land version. The only
Yeah.
one I can think of that was like, yeah, you could only fight that in the water was the Cedius, which I didn't
Cedius,
like.
and then they had they weren't only water, but like the Gobel I enjoyed. And
Oh, yeah,
then I
big-
also big
anglerfish.
anglerfish, pufferfish thing. And then they also had not Lavisia.
Ludroth.
Ludroth. That's what it was.
Ludroth they could. Ludroth is
He was
pretty much
land-based, too.
Jagras.
Yeah,
Pretty
he literally is. That's why I don't know why they didn't just put
Yeah,
the
Ludroth
Ludroth in the game.
And just, be like, oh, he just is in this little soft, puddly area.
Mhm.
But
Because that's what they did with the Jagras.
So you said Switch Axe was yours?
Yeah, Switch Axe, definitely, all the way.
And 3, it was Switch Axe for me as well. I think me and you did a lot of Switch Axe.
I did Switch Axe.
Yeah,
and
you
then I
switched
picked
to
up
Glaive
Charge
the
Blade.
minute the Glaive came out.
Well, that's because when Glaive came out, it was a specific upgrading system because you had to level up your bug and your Glaive. And you had to feed the bug like nectars, and nobody wanted to fuck with that. So I was like, it's secure. I can take this one, and nobody will play the same weapon I am.
I'm different.
And pretty much Glaive has followed me into the new game, but I'm trying to find a new one just so that I get some fresher gameplay. I've been working on a great sword. I gotta get a good build for that.
I don't see you as a heavy weapon kind of person, really.
I know.
Just because of
I
how
like
much
faster
you like
stuff,
mobility.
but like, I love
I
my
think you
mobility.
should give Dual Blades a try. Even me playing Lance and Hammer, I picked up Dual Blades and it was hella fun.
Go full Naruto.
I'll try.
It's
The thing that I've seen with most dual blades is that you're not exactly like super aggressive on the monster as much as you're like dancing around him and doing damage as you do
It's
it.
more like the basic combo you want to keep going is like triangle. I don't know if it's a 4-hit combo or a 3, but like basically before the last hit of the triangle combo, because it will like stick you in place and do a thing. You hit circle, which will like spin dash you, which works as an evade and an attack. And basically, you just want to try and stay on the monster's back feet.
I'll try it.
And it trips the monster like a lot. And when you get an opening, just hit that super archdemon combo.
I mean, I don't know anything
Just keep
about
going.
Glaive, but I feel like what you just described as Dual Blades tactic is what I imagine you do with the Glaive, which is dance around and hit the monster.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm always doing that with I feel like I'm always doing the attacks on the monster, and then I always feel like with the Glaive, I feel like I'm consistently hurting. Like if there's someone that has the Glaive out, there's not a time in which they're not doing damage unless they're sharpening. Whether it be the bug doing something or whether it be them literally just staying on the monster flying. What I hear with the dual blades is literally like that it's got the same like speed in the attacks, but not so much the same mobility as far as getting around the map.
Well, to be fair, I don't think just about anything has the same ability as an Insect Glaive.
I don't know. I want to try something else out.
Only weapon that can pole vault you.
Yeah.
You can make the dual blades godly. You just have to practice.
Yeah.
That's really how it is.
Yeah.
Like
I mean that's
that. Like I don't know who told you that, bro. But like you do hella fucking damage with dual blades,
Yeah.
and you are literally attacking at all times.
Yeah.
There's not a single second where it's
Super
like
aggro.
oh yeah, let me get away real quick and
That-
like chill for a second.
Yeah.
I feel that more with Insect Glaive because
Trying to get that dust.
Trying to get your red to yellow. I mean,
literally all I worry about is
Reds.
getting my red, and then I'm like.
But you do more
as long
damage
as I have
if
the
you
speed.
get your red,
Oh,
white,
yeah.
and then extending the time that you have both of them by getting your orange.
I only worry about getting the rest of it if I am if the monster's on the other side of the map and I'm going to it. Then I'll be like, all right, I'm trying to get my yellows and stuff.
But you
But
can
while the
still-
monster is like in my grill, I am consistently doing damage. So don't worry
you
about
can
my
add
yellows.
damage to there.
Yeah.
You just have to get it to where you know how to okay, so it'll even help in Iceborne. In Iceborne they added a new move to Glaive where when you're doing your aerial attacks and then you do a downward spiral down through the monster and it tags the monster again to change the spot where your bug's attacking.
Tencent's paying attention.
So if you're missing your red and you have only your yellow or something like
Can you
that.
not already do that?
No. Not
Because
a
you
not
can
a
already
downward
do the
sp-
spiral down.
You can do a spiral down, but it's not like a Beyblade spiral down. Instead, you turn into like a spear go down, and it tags again.
Gotcha.
You don't have an ability
I see
to
what you're
tag again while you're up in the air doing all
Okay.
your stuff. But you can tag another spot, can attack it, and then you can bring it back in, and it just makes it easier. And you can charge your Kinsect
at
in
the
the
same
new
time.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dual Blade is pretty freaking good because back in the old days, I used to play longsword and dual blades all the time, so I got really good at them. I'm not good at longsword anymore. I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm still like pretty godly at dual blades, and I've gotten godly at Insect Glaive in Monster Hunter World. So it's like that's why when I was listening, I was like, oh, that's
Glaive
Blade.
is still your main,
Yeah.
though, you'd say.
I'll try the dual blades.
I would say Insect Glaive was my main at the moment, only because I have the most stuff for it.
Okay.
Because my builds are built around my Insect Glaive at the
Yeah.
moment.
What are
But
you trying to be, though?
I'm trying to get back into my longsword days.
Yeah.
You've been using it a good amount lately.
Yeah,
I would say it's like
it just
it's
takes
definitely-
it just takes a second to get back into it.
Yeah.
It's not any easy task because I'm one of those guys that pays attention to the fact that there's other people playing with me. So it's like I try my calling you out.
Nothing. I was just.
Calling
No.
out me doing my upward thrust.
No,
thrusting
no.
him out of the air.
I
always
just
feel bad whenever I use my arc shot with a bow, and then Giles is just like, "Fuck."
No, not me. I have flinch free on everything.
That's probably me.
There's a while there where I don't think you had it on.
Oh yeah,
because,
no. It was awful.
okay, so there's this arc shot you can do with the bow where
To summarize this for you guys, Billy goes on to explain a lot about the bow for a very long time. But do not worry, Cutmaster Jared is here to save you. Snip.
Giles,
Yeah.
favorite weapon.
Oh man, I started playing with hammer because I just like hammers and everything. But then the salt enveloped me, put me in a cocoon, and I was tired of every monster's bullshit. So I picked up the no-nonsense weapon, the lance. Best weapon, can't change my mind. If you ever wanted to see just a giant dragon tremble at me standing still, it's the lance. Like, they can't do anything to get past me, and I constantly out-heal their damage.
Yeah, you are the only person I know that really makes builds in this game to sustain instead of attack. You outlast the monster more than you end the battle quickly before the monster even knows what's going on.
Which that's a good
You're
call.
not a speed runner. You're gonna endurance them to death.
Best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
Or wait, no.
No.
No, other way around.
Wait.
Whoopsie. My best offense is
Hold
a
on.
good hammer.
Best offense.
there's a hammer.
I think that's kind of why, like, whenever me and Giles play together, we're actually, like, pretty freaking good. Because Giles is the polar opposite of how I play.
Mhm.
So it's like when we're both fighting against one monster, we, like, completely freaking destroy it.
Oh yeah,
Because
no,
you can't do anything to him, and you're flying around.
Yeah, he keeps the, like, aggro, and I'm just like...
It feels good to have an array of weapons at the table when
Yeah,
you're fighting something.
that's how we do arena stuff together.
Oh, don't talk about the arena. I'm getting war flashbacks.
But-
I did it for a whole day with
As
Billy.
this be about hunting monsters, what is everybody's favorite monster?
Ooh, so
We answered this a little bit on a older podcast, but mine's still gonna be Titsuyaku and Dodogama, soon to
gotta
be
pick one.
Brachiodos.
You gotta pick
Oh,
one.
like favorite looking, Dodogama, coolest, Diablos. My spirit animal, Titsy, because he slashes everything.
Gotta pick one. He picked three. Got
I
it.
did. Separate categories. I picked one for each category.
You made
the time-
categories.
Half the time I don't know Titsy's there until I'm flashed, and I look
Yeah,
over and
same.
like me and the monster I'm fighting are both just like, what the fuck are you doing here?
He's like,
you exist?
he's got this attack where he's got like his ears, they'll open up, you'll get 3 warning shots, and half the time you don't notice, and then you're just stunned, and then he just sits there and laughs at you.
He
Like-
makes weird chicken monkey sounds.
he indeed does. In my heart,
I'll pick up.
I really enjoy the Legiacris. He was, he's the flagship of that game I started playing. He's a big Leviathan lightning lizard, and he's real dope. His armors always look dope too. So it just overall, I mean, he's not the most interesting monster necessarily, but he's definitely up there as just one of my favorites because he was also that first challenge that was like, oh, this is hard. Because you fight him in the water, and while a lot of people, we kind of said this already, but a lot of people don't like water levels, and a lot of people don't like water levels because of it just feels
It slows down the
it
gameplay.
slows down the gameplay. But I feel a lot of people also fear open water in general, that they can't see all the way through.
Well, yeah, we had
and
one
stuff
friend
like
that tried to play the game with us,
Yeah,
but
he was like,
once
no,
he realized there's
yeah.
monsters in the water,
He was like, I'm not doing the water part, and I was like, it's part of the game. And he was like, yeah, I know.
I'm
It's
not
like,
playing
it's
anymore.
like you had to fight this thing to continue on. Like,
Yeah, so the guy, Chris, man, great little lightning lizard.
I'm probably gonna go with Toby. I like Toby Kadashi a lot. I think he's not hard by any means, but I think his fight is just fun because his attacks are kind of easily avoidable, but if they hit you, they'll fuck you up a little bit. And
He's as skinny as an ogre.
yeah, I think he's a cute little cute little squirrel electric
Squirrel
boy.
lizard.
So, cute little squirrel lizard. So I think I still use his bow.
Yeah.
So
For me, I guess I'm gonna have to break mine down into categories a little bit too, but mine are gonna be like, I like the monster that I would like ride and have as a companion would definitely be the Nargacuga.
Yeah.
But as far as like the coolest monster in the series, I think the Glavenus is one. Specifically for like
He has a sword for a tail.
well, that's cool as shit too, but I'm talking like in Monster Hunter Generations U, when you get him into like his there's like another form of him, I can't remember what it's called exactly. But he's way more aggressive. I think that's like the closest thing to PvP that game feels like, because it feels like you are fighting another person with a sword, because he relies strictly on his sword. No, that's for Monster Hunter World. They're bringing in a new subspecies.
oh,
But in GU there was like it might have been the blood whatever version of it, but
was that the thing for that game? Was like the blood versions? Of
maybe
monsters?
that could have been it. I can't remember if that's what it was
Remember
called or
all you were
not.
telling me about like, I think it was called agitated or
Frenzy.
aggro?
Frenzy.
Yeah, there was Frenzied Monster. That was in 4 Ultimate. The Gormagala, who is also a really cool monster. He's very metal looking.
He's essentially, he brings things back as like zombies. So
yeah, he
zombie
just like
versions.
infects them with like this virus that
Called
is
Frenzy,
on
I
them,
think.
and it like makes the monsters like oddly aggressive. And that was like the big story of that game, is that this monster is making all the other monsters act abnormally, and we need to make him stop.
So in each game, there's kind of a like
A gimmick.
there's a gimmick for different variations of monsters. So in like World, it's called that's like the tempered and arch tempered, right?
Yeah.
And they're
Well, that's kind of, I guess that's kind of World's temporary G rank, but now they're adding, what's it called?
master rank.
Master rank, which is going to be the actual G rank.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so it used to be low rank, high rank, and then G rank. And G rank is basically where you would spend like just
All in
just
the game.
hundreds of hours just building up.
Harder versions of monsters.
And now they're introducing Master Rank, which is basically G Rank for World.
Mhm.
But yeah, so in 4...
Except with a name that makes sense.
Yeah.
In 4, it was the virus. And this one, it's kind of been tempered and arch tempered, which are just like higher evolution, like, you know, like
Harder versions.
Yeah,
Just harder versions.
harder versions. They're higher up on that species, like...
I'm personally hoping they bring the Gormagala back
And
that
that
the
explains
world, and that
tempered.
explains tempered monsters.
Yeah. They could do that.
Because I'm not sure, I might just be blanking on it, but I'm not sure they have a big explanation for why tempered monsters are a thing, other than they live close to that like big diamond recess where like
They just have
immense
more
power
power.
is.
Well, I think what it could be is they're like the alphas of their species. So it's it's like the arch tempered is like he's the most powerful. You know,
Well,
yeah.
If we're going off of the name tempered, it just means they're more mad.
Yeah.
They're just more angry boys. They're throwing
Angry.
fits.
So think of tempered as mad boy. Think of arch tempered as super mad. Like that's it.
Angie. They should just rename it Angie.
Mad and
I
angry.
feel like we're repeating ourselves.
We are repeating
Oh my
ourselves.
god. I'm getting deja vu right now. Like, and that makes it times 3.
Jared.
Jared. Jared Giles couple name. Jared.
Start shipping us. Them two.
Specifically Jared and Giles.
Where's the fan art?
Shipping them.
What fans?
They're my one true ship.
My favorite monster in Monster Hunter World is probably Odogaron.
Mhm.
I don't have a favorite from Unite anymore, and my actual favorite that is like I just love the look of the monster is probably Bonbaro, but that's an Iceborne, so I haven't been able to really fight him. I've fought him a couple times, but I
Bonbaro's
plan
cool.
on destroying that kid.
What was the lightning tiger? Was that?
Was it no lightning tiger?
Was that-
Was
was
it an
that-
ogre?
was that
He was
an
like
That
a
was a
wolf.
dog. Yeah, that was like
Was
He was a wolf.
Okay.
He wasn't a tiger.
Regardless,
The only tiger one
I thought
is
that
the
one was
tiger.
really cool because that was one of the first like really hard monsters I fought by myself for the first time.
So, guys, Iceborne is coming out.
When?
Iceborne, it's coming out on September
That's fine. You
9th.
don't got to tell me that.
Yeah, I'll say September 9th, 2019. Iceborne, the first big
Oh,
expansion.
Is it the 9th or the 6th? Because I thought it was.
Look, they brought me the 6th.
I think it's the
actually.
6th because it's the same day that Borderlands 3 comes
6
out.
and 9 look similar. One's just upside down.
True, and that together
Which
they
one?
make the sex number.
Oh,
Oh,
Everybody type 69 in the chat.
Please don't.
I mean, dude, that'd be some fan interaction.
Type
That'd be
69 in the
nuts.
comments.
So,
Or just a nice.
big expansion. We're all pretty excited about a lot of the monsters, and like they're bringing back variant subtypes and you know, new combos for every weapon, stuff like that. They're bringing in a really cool snowy area. I really like
That was the one thing that I thought this game was missing. Well, so for the longest time, I was like, "Where's the lava area?" And then, of course, the Elder's Recess becomes end game stuff.
Yeah.
Because you only go through the first couple areas, but then that area comes, and I was like, "Oh, there's lava, but where's the snow?" And now they're like, "Here's some snow."
the big snow
What's
area.
y'all's favorite map so far?
And not including the ice one?
Yeah,
The ice
not
one looks
including
pretty neat.
100% not the ancient forest.
Probably the Wildspire
The ancient
Waste.
forest is just massive.
See, I hate the Wildspire.
like
I
it.
hate desert levels. I talked about this on stream the other night. I hate desert levels because I hate like just the beige color of sand being the entire screen. Like I like that level at night because the music sounds really cool and because like the colorful things pop.
Yeah.
But I hate desert levels.
I can understand that complaint. I just
Yeah.
I really like the layout. Of
No,
it.
I get that. Yeah, I like
speaking
that.
of, if you're ever in that level, don't touch the cactus boy that's running around because you will get demolished.
That's a Final Fantasy thing.
Cactuar. He'll
Yeah.
fuck you
Cactuar,
he'll
yeah.
fuck you hard. He'll fuck you
Who was it that I was playing with? Was it you, Oliver, that like you hit it and you were like,
That was me.
someone hit it? Yeah, you
No,
were
no, no,
really
it was
mad.
the four of us were playing, minus Billy were playing, and Jared and you were both like, hit it.
Well,
and I
'cause
was
we-
like,
yeah.
I don't know what it does. So I was like, I wasn't even near the monster because I was playing bowgun. So I was like shooting, and you were like up on him, and they were like, hit it, and you hit it, and then it hurt the monster and immediately killed
It does
you.
a stupid amount of
It
damage.
does 150 every second. I was dead.
And ends
in
with
second.
1,000.
And ends with 1,000.
Yeah, you didn't stand a chance, and then all of a sudden,
I was already dead.
I just remember it was just like, oh, he hit it. And I was just like,
It literally
Well-
can melt a bear off like it's nothing.
I think we were under the assumption that you guys knew what it did.
Yeah.
So when we were like, hit it, hit it, but then get away.
get out of there. I mean, I wasn't near it to begin with. So
It's
I was
like- it's
fine.
like the-
But I watched my friend die.
It's like the little paralysis frogs. It's like you hit them and you get out. You know what I
The
mean?
first time I ever saw him, we were on our way to a tempered bear off.
Wasn't I there? I was
And
like,
someone smacked it, and he was blocking the exit, and he just does this spinning, like, he doesn't move, he's in this constant running pose, and he just spins around and shoots sparks, and I was just like,
They're
what the
cactus
fuck
needles.
is this? And then, like, I couldn't leave the area because he was blocking the exit, and then he just zoomed off, like, towards the bear off.
Yeah, he
and-
ran to the no spot. Use him again.
But yeah, I feel like personally, Iceborne, right, is a good example of like putting an expansion on a game that feels worthwhile and like feels.
Did we even finish saying what areas we liked?
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, I was like, what the? Wait, where are we going?
Well, okay,
Sorry, we really
got
started
to
talking
Wild-
about
we got
beige.
to
Desert,
Wildfire
yeah.
Waste, and then we talked about Cactus.
So mine's Wildspire. Billy, I apologize.
What is the area Lake Ionius in? Is that?
Oh,
Coral
Coral
Highlands.
Highlands. That's a good one.
I like the Coral Highlands a lot.
I gotta say, like, the most, like, visually cool is Elder's Recess, but I think my favorite map has to be Wildspire for the slopes and my hammer.
I always love whenever a monster walks on top of the Diablo's den, and we're all just like, "Oh, buddy."
And then we
Oh,
shoot a
no.
bird, it makes the boy come out.
Yeah. So basically, in this map, there's this big open area, and
Oh, here he goes again. Luckily, I'm here to do my job, which is snippity snip snippin'. Snip.
Oh, he snipped good. Yeah, I like the Coral Highlands. They're really cool, but I enjoyed the Iceborne place.
Yeah, the Coral Highlands are cool. There's parts I don't like because there's like lots of climbing in that map. It feels like.
There's, I feel like there's much more in the Ancient Forest, and it's much easier
Oh, yeah.
to get lost in the
Yeah, yeah,
Ancient Forest.
Oh yeah,
I
Ancient
agree.
Forest is genuinely the only one I get lost in. Where I'm just like,
Yeah.
where did I go?
Even I even have a mini map, and I'm like, I just don't want to be here.
One of y'all played. Last time I played, one of y'all played, and y'all were like, I finally saw where the Devil Joe goes. Like when it hops across, like the whatever.
Yeah.
One of y'all was finally like, what the fuck, he does that? I was like, you've not seen that?
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, you don't ever see that
Will
stuff
do
super
it too.
often.
It's dopey.
Yeah.
Just like hopping across the little rock ledges.
But I don't know. There's like parts of every map that I like, and then there's parts of every map that I really hate.
Fair.
And I feel like the only one that's like decent, like to just navigate through, is the Elder's Recess, because like there's no weird gimmicky stuff that like is real annoying. Like with the Rotten Vale, I hate the stink. With the Coral Highlands, I hate how often I have to stop just to climb shit.
You gotta
guess-
use wedge beetles.
Yeah, I guess
They have them everywhere.
that's true. The Wildspire, I guess, is really good. It's just annoying to look at.
They just need to put a wedge beetle in that one spot
I
that
hate
everyone knows.
Trudging through water.
Didn't they? Yeah, I hate the water. Didn't they have that in like the first demo they showed or
I
something?
swear they did,
Yeah.
and they took it out for
Had what?
no reason.
A wedge beetle right at that like gap. Where like
only
you crawl
gap.
down and then
It
have
has
to
a
climb up.
it has a
Oh, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
tree over it. It's perfect for a wedge beetle to be right there, but now we have to jump down and climb up.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure they
Capcom,
have.
Please fix this.
But I don't know. If I had to pick
Fix
a
your
favorite one,
helm splitter, Capcom. Fix your hitboxes, Capcom.
We going in.
if I had to pick one map though that like I was like, yeah, this one's just straightforward. It would be the Elder's Recess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, man.
There's not a lot of climbing in that one. It's just pretty straightforward.
There's like one area of climbing, and that's like the nest area and the.
Yeah, there are a few areas once you jump off a cliff you can't go back and you have to loop your way back around.
I think there's only that one spot. But that one spot gets me every time.
Yeah, it's like there's one spot where you jump from a camp and it's when you're going after like Teostra and Lunastra, and then there's the other one where
Oh yeah,
it's going into that area, but it's not from a camp. But other than that, I think that's probably my second favorite.
What?
Jared, what's your favorite map? Did you say?
I already said
you already said.
Coral Highlands and
Coral
the new Iceborne
Whoa.
map. I like the Iceborne. I just like Iceborne. I used to my wall.
Yeah.
I like Iceborne in general. It just
I
looks really,
specifically
really...
didn't want to play the beta because I want that all to be like new when I get in there.
I mean, I played just enough to be like, oh,
We
this is
hunted
what
the new
Tigris
monsters.
is.
Yeah,
that was
and
it.
I want that to all be surprising. Like when I get
It
into
is.
it, I want to like get into
It
it.
felt real good to play,
Mhm.
and like
The slinger's dope, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for that new slinger.
Clutch Claw.
Okay,
Hashtag
you're
Clutch
saying
Claw.
slinger, and I was like,
The cl-
Is
I
it
mean,
a new
it's
slinger?
it's
It's
a
a new
part
tool.
of your slinger.
Yeah, the new slinger.
you said new slinger.
Well, it's
and I was
pretty much-
thinking, like,
the
does it
Clutch
replace
Claw-
the whole thing?
Yeah, the Clutch Claw is pretty much your slinger.
But does it replace
No, it's
like
just
the
a new
ability to
attach.
shoot?
It's just a new
No.
attachment.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I was
You
making
know
sure
how
of.
your clutch claw has just like 3 backwards claws?
Yeah.
They flip forward.
Now they do something.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
flip forward.
Yeah. No, I was just making sure like you didn't have the ability
You still
to
have your
either
slinger.
grip or shoot.
No, you have both all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it would be. Me and Charles we thought it would be on a cooldown. It is not.
Mm-mm.
You
So with
just
my-
keep
But it's
doing it.
really easy to be thrown off the monster.
True. I have figured
So
out
that's why it's kind of balanced.
Except with, again, God Weapon, Lance's counter claw. It gives you E-frames when you get on that monster, so you have time to do something.
Great.
So it's because it's like you basically hold your ground with it, have the claw out, and if the monster hits you, you sling onto it.
onto them.
That's right.
You
So
ride 'em
it's
cowboy.
so
So it's
fucking cool.
almost like a counter.
Yeah.
It is. It's called the claw counter.
Okay, good.
So
And
that's
it
why
drains stamina like the power guard.
that claw is another reason I want to change from glaive because glaive's whole thing is mounting, and now that literally everybody can mount with just this one attachment.
It's not really a mount though. It's
Yeah,
like
it's not the same
It's a
as, like,
different
a
kind.
mountain.
No,
Like,
it's
oh,
different.
Okay.
It's not because that would get
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It's like marking
That
a
would
weak
be the-
spot, right? It's like whatever part of the monster you hop onto.
You
becomes
can use it
weak
to do a
spot.
couple things.
Heavy weapons.
So is it like in Dauntless, the thing that like makes their little weak area glow that you can bust?
It
I think so.
basically
Similar to that? Okay.
in heavy weapons make a weak spot, which just looks like a big X on the hide.
Mhm.
Light weapons drop slinger ammo, and what you can do with slinger ammo is
Okay.
if when you're grappled onto
Oh,
it,
yeah.
you can press a button to like turn them and release all your slinger ammo and fling them into things.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll make
that's
them
cool.
run forward
Yeah,
uncontrollably and like
that's
slam
super
into
Yeah,
the
I
wall or
totally
Okay, so
goofed
that's an
on that
interesting
big
mechanic.
elk boy by
Dude, that was-
slamming him into a wall.
When we were fighting him, that was so funny.
So we'll talk about this in a bit. It was a
I'll
concept
put up
that's similar to
videos
that.
of it on the
Yeah.
video version. It's
I know.
really fucking cool.
Again, yeah, I've just when they did the beta for Iceborne, I was like, I want this to all feel fresh because
No, I feel that.
whenever Monster Hunter was big for me, I felt burnout because I was like, I already hunted these, so I was like, I want this to be like brand new when I get into it.
I feel that.
See, I just recently, like, when I picked it back up, because I was on sale for like $20 on PSN. I'm glad I picked it back up because I was only on rank 14. And now I'm finally up to like 54. So I'm getting there. I didn't really understand the way armor worked and stuff because
Did
I
you
guess
really not? I could have swore we.
you started explaining it
Yeah.
and then the disc got lost because Grant was helping me pick it back up after like a 2-month hiatus and I didn't really understand it super well like they did.
Well, too, when the game came out, me and you, because Oliver had a job that required him to like work times when we weren't home.
Yeah.
So when we first got the game, it was mostly me and you.
We had,
Yeah,
we
I
had
actually-
totally different work schedules.
I had the most hours in it for a while and then I had to drop it off because of school and stuff.
Don't worry about what's happening over there.
They're just memeing.
Our meme boys in the corner over there.
Just specifically memeing.
He just saw something on my laptop and cracked him up.
These boys are always memeing. We're always memeing.
Yeah, so were we going to talk about like
Yeah,
monsters
so
we
like for Iceborne, obviously they're introducing more new monsters, more sub variants. I was just kind of curious to like what you guys thought about like if you, not even so much like if you want to, if you got an idea and want to pitch it out, like yeah, what would it be a totally brand new monster concept you think would be cool? But also if you just have a really, because I have a lot of ideas for sub variants a lot of the times that I'm like it would be cool if this monster was just a little bit different.
So first, let's talk, I guess, more specifically about what monsters we want to see brought back into it, or which ones we know of that we'd be like, all right, I want to see that.
So what's
Definitely Gore
confirmed
Magala.
so far?
I would
What is
love to see Gore Magala back.
Yeah.
Just so we're all on the same page, what is confirmed so far that they're bringing back?
Glavenus is coming back. Brachiodos is all
Pretty
but
much
confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Tigrex.
teased it with the
Yeah,
eye thing.
yeah.
Well, they
no,
didn't give
the-
eyes. It was the roar.
It was
That's what it was.
in the
yeah. I was gonna say they
the
at
Uragon
the end
had
of all
slime
these
on.
trailers, they're releasing like hints to other monsters they're bringing in. So the first hint they gave us for Nargakruga, and then the next one they confirmed it. Then they hinted Tigrex, they confirmed it. Hinted Glavenus, confirmed it, and now they've hinted Brachiodos.
Basically, this picture they released for like the 15th anniversary, this whole bottom row has been confirmed, basically. Like, you got the Glavenus, Tigrex, Nargakruga, Brachiodos, not Zenogre.
They've not confirmed
That's
the Seregios.
Serregios. Serregios would be
Seregios
fun.
is not-
He was a flagship, so I'd like
Yeah,
to see him back.
Serregios
It's like there's
was
4 for 4 on this bottom here.
Serregios was all about sharpness and bleeding damage. Like
So-
Serregios' mechanic that was cool was when you rolled and you had your weapon out, it would sharpen it a little bit.
You get a little bit of sharpness back by rolling.
And if you rolled like 3 times, it would sharpen your weapon up one
Yeah.
A
level.
lot of theories are like that they're going to bring back all the flagships, which is this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do,
that picture.
do you guys think they're just gonna leave out a bunch of monsters and like not tell us until we find them in game?
I think that's possible. Yeah.
Because I think that would be.
Oh, and not like announce them, but like you're able to
Yeah,
find
totally.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
I think
sure.
Because if it's
just
if
like
it's a whole expansion, like a
like a 3-3 ultimate kind of
if
expansion.
it's one of those kind of expansions, there's definitely going to be some stuff that they're
They're just not going to say
Because
anything.
that would make them Destiny,
yeah,
and they don't do that.
Or Overwatch.
or Smash Bros.
Oh man, what a time!
I like surprises, and I hope
Genuine-
we get surprised.
Genuinely
I will
love
say,
that game.
on
I won't be
No.
disappointed if we don't. But
On a little note, I am proud of Blizzard because this last thing they did for Overwatch, they didn't announce anything about it until it came out, which is not something they usually do. And I was pleasantly surprised to just have a bunch of new stuff when I opened up the game instead of it being like, okay, all this stuff they announced is here now.
I like. We're getting into more like the live update games. Is that what it's called? When like games just kind of like
Update.
keep going. Like they release
Yeah.
one game, they just keep.
So,
I mean,
so-
I feel
so-
like
so
that
rather
we've been
than
there for a
sequels-
while, I think.
Yeah, so
Well,
rather,
we're
rather than
in that
having
now to
sequels,
where
they're-
most games are now. This is the first time Monster Hunter's gotten into that, where it's just like continuously updating.
They said this will be the last like
update.
big thing they'll do for World.
Yeah.
They're done with World after this. Besides like these.
Besides the
Quality
updates where they
updates.
like put in a new event or they put in like a
But it's their best. I looked this up the other day because I was curious. Monster Hunter World is their best-selling title, so it would be done. It would not make any sense for them not to make a sequel on the console.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
if they don't make a World 2 or something akin to that,
New
I will be
World.
very surprised.
I want them to put a monster into Iceborne that only has a 0.3 rate of spawning, and I want it to just look so like
Grotesque.
yeah, like so scary that like just looking at it makes you nauseous.
like a Cronenberg monster.
yeah,
of sorts.
yeah.
Are
And
you
I just
wanting
want it
to
to
put
just
a
be
missing no in Monster Hunter?
yeah, like just so fucked that like
If they
you
had
look-
like a surprise like that, I would love that. If it was
yeah.
just one of those things.
God.
I wanted to whenever it's like pitch black almost, and everywhere it walks, it leaves like tracks of just the world missing. Like, I want some crazy.
You want them
shit.
to introduce like a void monster.
Yeah,
an
yeah.
alien.
That sounds terrifying.
I know, and it only has a 0.3, so you're like, you never know it's gonna come.
It's like
and it
almost-
doesn't show up.
It's
on
almost
your
a
little bar down.
creepypasta.
Yeah, it almost becomes a
Yeah.
creepypasta because people are like, I swear.
And you look at it and it's like some
His
gross
eyes
thing with
were
hyper
bleeding
realistic
and they were
eyes.
gone.
It was a skeleton.
with blood eyes.
No, what was it? Was it the one on the PSP where like the big monster at the end was a like a jellyfish?
I don't know.
One of the portable ones, like the monster was like some kind of jellyfish creature, and it was dumb to hunt.
I want it to be where that monster cannot be killed unless you're like have.
Oh, so you just avoid it?
Yeah.
Avoid it.
Avoid the void.
You try and
No,
avoid it at
it's
all
like it's
costs.
unbeatable.
It's unbeatable, but like
hasn't met
it
me.
doesn't stay on the map for long. And once you see it, you have like, I don't know, it'll be there for like maybe 2 minutes and it'll be leaving the locale. But it's just there to like, if it
Fuck
gets
with
you, like it'll fuck you up.
You lose your weapons.
that
You lose your armor and
lose
weapons.
everything.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
And
You
it
lose
takes
your
2 cards off of
character.
you.
You lose your character.
It's the hardcore mode. That would be neat if they did.
Start all the way over.
You
That
die in
would
the
be neat.
game, you die in real
It
life.
corrupts your PS4 and you have to buy a new one.
It would be neat if they introduced a hardcore mode to like,
yeah.
and that not to where like normal monsters kill you and you lose everything, but like where
monsters.
there's like that kind of monster in certain maps.
So, like,
and you have a chance of
in
that
a
happening.
sense that, like, you know, there's some Monster Hunter like carts that you watch where you're just like, okay, I was just knocked unconscious. But you know, there's those carts
Like
you
the Devil
have
Joe, where it's like, he ate me.
Yeah, or like the Teostra like explodes. You're like, my hunter be dead.
My hunter's gone.
Yeah, like
He was carted to heaven.
yeah, I was about to say.
I
he just
don't
exploded.
want that because I'm a trophy hunter and there would be a trophy behind it and I would want to die.
Or at the very least, where it at least breaks your shit.
I mean, if there was a trophy behind it, it'd probably be like, avoid them within like this amount of time or something.
No,
Or avoid
it'd
him a
be
certain
some
amount of
stupid
times.
shit like get all the crowns on hardcore mode.
The crown
He can
void
get
monster.
bigger. That'd be fucking nuts.
bigger.
Like
I
that'd
like
be
how
nuts, dude.
You have this thought in your head.
I'm
already.
already envisioning him like as big as like Xeno.
Jesus.
I like the idea too of him like he doesn't necessarily hunt you, but he is there to eat a portion of the map. So you are about to lose one whole area of the
Is
map.
this just turned into Fortnite Monster Hunter?
And it's,
It's the
Oh
storm.
my god.
and it's not even like oh he walks on it and it just becomes a chunk error. It's like he's walking over there and as he's
It's a
as he's
crater or
walking through, like everything's just turning like decrepit and black and like
Oh, I see.
ruin like
I
a
see what you
ruin.
mean.
I
So it's
know,
like-
none of you watched Casher and Sins, but if anyone
Wait.
has, like it's just a ruin. Everything's decrepit and falling
So
apart.
have you seen Princess Mononoke?
Yeah.
So
Something like kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't seen Princess Mononoke, there's like this demon parasite thing that whenever it takes over a monster, it just like everything it touches around it just starts decaying and shit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like it like walks over a Jagras and it fucking I don't even know.
Dies.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of it.
So-
you see it absorb
Yeah,
it.
What
yeah.
I was thinking
I'm
when you
sweating right now. This is terrifying.
what I was thinking when you were saying it, I was thinking like a frame kind of like the Ancient Lesson, and add it like add a second layer to it. It's you can always see it in the corner of your screen, like right on the edge. And you try to look at it, it's gone.
Oh,
It'll
that,
disappear.
no.
I don't like. I don't
Like in my
at
mind,
night.
I think of them as night terrors. So like it's like a night terror where it's like you're laying in bed and you can't move, and you just see this giant black figure leaning closer into you.
Have you heard?
Okay.
Sorry, this
What
is
the
just
hell
like
is happening? Where'd this come from?
this is like a quick tangent.
Jared has
just
a
for
dark,
second.
twisted
Well,
mind.
okay.
Well, have you heard Oni's Night Terror, where he's talking about like
Yeah.
it's like a big black
That's what I'm
blob
saying,
with
yeah.
like the face of a baby just in the center of it, and that's all it is.
Yeah, and it's just yeah.
So this is giving me an idea for like where they could go with a new Monster Hunter game.
that.
What I think if they did was you expanded more into the new new world or like
There's a lot to explore with.
yeah, it's like or they can even have it so it's like you're a rogue hunter or something. You have no affiliation with the Hunters Guild, and the game is you building up your like. They could even go back in time to the beginning of the Hunters
where you start
Guild.
your own guild.
Like you have to build up the Hunters Guild.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool.
Oh,
you
no.
save.
That
more
would be
hunger.
rough there at first, unless you also ran away with a blacksmith friend.
That was about to say the first mission could be you saving someone
Yeah.
who has done a
No,
blacksmith.
I think that messed up a little bit of a thing I do like about the community. It's like,
They all love you.
no. I was talking about like the IRL game community
yeah.
of like,
I thought you meant like the group.
with
in
all the
Monster Hunter
games,
World.
like it's always a different fleet. So like people who play the games, like, oh, I came in on Monster Hunter 3 and I was like the 3rd fleet or whatever. But like how Monster Hunter World is the 5th fleet. So like even on the Monster Hunter subreddit, it has a flare. It's like, oh, I'm a first fleeter. I've been here since the book coded.
I still think a game
The
would
fleet
be,
thing
I
was
still think a
definitely
game would be really cool where you
pretty
try to
neat.
establish your own, you go to, it could be even another new world concept, but regardless, you have to build up the civilization there. You don't have everything from the guild.
Where you could upgrade your hub.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you could do that game concept without having to be rogue.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
upgrade your
that was
thing.
just more of, like,
Colonizing a
specific.
new area.
That was just more of a specific.
You could be Cyclops, you could be Wolverine, you could be Nightcrawler.
That'd be really neat.
Anyways.
That'd be really neat,
Oh,
Oliver.
fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck
okay.
you. I just got the joke.
Got him, boys. I want them to
real
bring back all the
confused.
the big insects and the big mammals, and I want more big insects and big mammals.
So what I was gonna
personally.
say earlier when I was talking about like a new monster I'd like to see, because this would give me the heebie-jeebies, is if they introduced a new bug insect or a bug monster that was just like a centipede, like a big fucking centipede thing.
Hell yeah.
That'd give me the fucking heebiest. of
Make it
jeebies.
as big as the giant monster that the
Because a lot of people already really don't.
I would
fuck
want
with
it. I would want the
Marcilla.
centipede to be as big as the Naharala.
Naharala?
Yeah,
I
the
remember
big
the
snake.
Naharala.
If it were like that big, I'd be like, hell
I
yeah.
miss that.
So
one.
you know, like
What if
the
you
size of 2 buses.
Yeah.
What if
in
it,
length.
it has a lot of legs? What if the legs had like very low like health, and the
could
more
break
legs you
legs.
break, the slower it moves. So you start the fight with this super fucking fast bug, but the more legs you break, the
The slower,
slower
yeah.
and tired it
It
gets.
sounds cool, but also gross.
So
Hell yeah, dude.
I just got a little heated over.
Sorry.
Not that. Not, you did this. Where's our big leech boy?
Oh,
The Giganauts?
Kazoo
Or the
and the
Kazoo,
Giganauts.
either one?
They're both of them were leech boys. I don't know.
Where are them at?
There's not really a.
Where are them at?
Where are they?
There's not really a cave area in Monster Hunter.
The Elder's Recess would be the closest.
Yeah.
But they were big snow creatures too.
Is there a cave
True, they
area
were.
in the new map?
Yeah.
I mean,
Ice
there.
cave.
Well, this
where
one's not-
Tigrex goes.
Yeah, there is an ice
could do that.
cavern. So yeah, that would work. That
I
could
don't know
be
why they've
something
not brought
they
him
do.
back. Because he
Yeah.
was creepy. I hated him.
Yeah, he was the creepiest part to me, and this is just me because I'm the kind of person who leaves on the battle music, is that
They
that
don't.
creature doesn't have battle music, and you just hear its wail, which sounds really creepy.
There were 2 things about it for me. Is the Giganauts. I hate leeches, so that already fucked with me. The fact that it had 2 heads on both ends that it could just use
Yeah, I didn't
sucked.
like that.
And the fact that depending on, I guess, which one you were fighting, it could put like an egg sack on its back
Oh,
that
I
would
remember
then
that
leak
now.
smaller ones, or it would
That
like
would
put
leech
an
on you.
electric charge one on you, or an
Yeah.
electric charge on its back. And then the what was the other one? Kazoo.
Kazoo. That
He-
was just an electric.
He just
like,
smiled.
Yeah.
I hated that shit. He was just smiling.
Yeah, he had like no eyes and
He
a
was
big.
cheesing.
How dare he be?
He was zooted.
He kind
He
of
was
looks like
so
an
happy.
uncircumcised penis.
Gecky Main's kid.
So, yeah, that
Okay.
sounds the centipede idea sounds great.
Yeah. Really, they
I
could do a
was-
lot with giant bugs.
I was thinking right now, because me being the Lance boy, the only downside, and it's because they have to, just imagine they're the chains that hold the god in place. There's not a lot of guard armor pieces. So I was thinking, what could a
Guard
monster,
armor piece? What do you mean?
like,
Our pieces
Armor
have
pieces.
guard.
Oh, I
as
see
a
what you're saying.
skill.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, there's a total of 3. It's so cool.
Which monsters is it?
Yeah, that is another thing.
Baroth, which gives you +1 and is trash armor, and
Yeah.
then the Uragon.
Well, if
and
they did-
one piece of basil.
If they did
So
bring
the
back
big boys.
mammals, we could get our armadillo boy back.
That's what I was just about to say. What if there was an armadillo that dug?
There's been an armadillo one.
That's cool. Also,
I'm
another reason I
blanking
want
on
to
that.
play.
He's the red one. He like rolls up and bounces
Oh,
around.
Yeah,
he
He's
stinks.
similar. He's similar to the
Sounds awesome.
He's similar in size to the bear, the Azuros.
Yeah. He's a.
Except he's like an
what was it?
armadillo.
It's
thing.
called like a brute beast. I
Yeah,
think
it's
is
like
what
a
that
brute beast or
class was
something
called.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the size of a bear, and he would roll up into.
They were like low
smash
tier
around.
in whatever rank you fought them
Yeah.
in, but like
I
they were
would
still big.
love
and
to
fun.
get Monster Hunter, the newest one on Switch, just so I need money to buy a controller
fair.
before I do it. And
You
money
need,
to
I
get the
play it on
game.
my. I play it in
Yeah,
handheld
I
mode a
don't know.
lot because I'm used to that game being a.
I also
handheld
need to
game.
be able to buy the game.
Yeah, that's right.
And just because I want to play with all these monsters because
so
you guys describe them, and I saw like a clip of some. I didn't even get a good look at what it was, but it had a giant concrete wheel that it threw at people. It was
Oh,
like
Rajang. It's
Yeah.
probably
That's
Rajang. Was it a
literally what I was about to
monkey?
bring up. I want him back or like a monkey.
Because
Some
Rajang
sort.
was like not
I mean,
just a
ape,
mammal.
sorry.
He was Rajang was a mammal, but he was like the one mammal in the games that was very difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I saw like I can't remember.
he
I
was
don't
a
know
Dragon
what
Ball Z reference or something.
He was
or
only
at
the
least
size of like
lore
the
of Dragon
Corinne
Ball Z.
in
Yeah.
comparison, but he would chuck giant rocks
Is he
at
the
you,
electric monkey?
and he would shout like energy rays at you.
Yes, I remember.
He was
Is he-
totally a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Yeah, is he?
I
Well,
don't think
I
he's
think
a
Dragon Ball
species.
Z is based off of like lore.
Yeah.
or something.
And then you got that wacky shit, and then you got even crazier shit in this weird world of Monster Hunter, where it's a literal jet dragon
Mhm.
made of metal.
He was
looks
cool.
like a machine.
So, what if they introduce monsters who halfway through the battle evolved into something? So
I would
like,
love that.
So like, for example, starts off as like a
Stage
massive
2.
caterpillar,
Yeah.
and then
It's a
like
Dark Souls boss.
so imagine it starts off as like this grotesque caterpillar, and then evolves into like a giant butterfly that has paralysis.
Well, like,
and-
so if it got away from you, so like it would like dig away, and if you didn't find it in enough time, like it would go somewhere to rest, and then it would evolve into a second
and
stage.
the game evolved.
I think it would be really cool if it.
Did that have that?
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
So
Well,
that was
and
terrible,
imagine, like,
Jared.
imagine
This
what
would
the-
be good.
Imagine with the caterpillar, right? Like you do catch it in its cocoon, and then you knock the cocoon down, and it comes down, and it's like this grotesque, just like
it's
halfway formed, kind of like. I think
We're
that would
on
be
some
really cool.
gross shit in this game.
You know what I'm surprised they haven't done? With how big Monster Hunter is in Japan, and they both have had universal attractions, I'm surprised they've not done some kind of like Godzilla tie-in. I mean,
What?
even I think it was PUBG did a fucking Godzilla tie-in.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw on the Monster Hunter subreddit being like, this crossover. I know this is a dead meme, but honestly, this crossover would be pretty nuts. And it showed a Skyrim crossover where Alduin comes over as an
Yeah.
Elder Dragon, and the armor set you get from him is the Daedric armor set
That'd be cool.
with Daedric
That would be
weapons
cool.
and shit.
I could see them have doing that
Give us another Igni, but it's a shout.
when it became big on
The
this.
foo segment.
don't give.
When
guys
Skyrim came
any
to
more
the
of those
Switch,
trinkets.
had that been around the same time they did a new Monster Hunter, I could have seen them doing that.
Yeah, I have a lot of hope for Iceborne because again, Iceborne is akin to like these 3-3 ultimate, 4-4 ultimate things where like they're really gonna pack a lot of new stuff in there. I don't think it'll be anything like Generations because Generations was like a game that was like a thank you to the fans. Like it was like here's everything we've done.
Yeah. Well,
Here's
not-
all the not
most
everything, but here's most every monster that's
Yeah.
ever been in a game. Enjoy yourself. But like, and I know Monster Hunter also has gotten into like I like that we're all going toward kind of like gross stuff because I feel like Monster Hunter World is very like is a lot more realistic and gritty looking in
and you
comparison
can make
to other
things
Monster Hunter
a
games.
lot more gross considering some of the
I want to
monsters
feel
they have.
uncomfortable by it.
Like cartoony is something that used to be in the games,
Yeah.
and though I love that, there is like a disconnect in the sense of like from Generations to World, where like Generations feels like wacky and fun, and World feels wacky and fun as well, but it also has like a realism to it.
Yeah, the thing that started the wheel.
Yeah.
It was the praying mantis. It was like the
Yeah.
indie game that they have in the
That
new
sounds
one.
familiar.
It's a praying mantis that has like webs
Oh,
that
man.
like it has like a giant wheel that it just like slams around.
Speaking of webs, Narcilla, I want to see Narcilla again.
Narcilla would be
Spider.
really cool in the Rotten Vale.
Ugh.
In the Rotten
Yes,
Vale, that'd be a
absolutely.
really cool.
Did
monster.
that one make you uncomfortable,
It catches,
Jared?
it catches
I have
gears.
really, really bad arachnophobia.
Oh man.
Oh,
That one was that one. You want to feel uncomfortable?
That'll make you feel uncomfortable.
That's a different
Those
uncomfortable.
big
I,
jaws. that
I
came
wanted
out
to.
of it.
I wanted to like feel the monsters I want, which I described earlier, just fucking weird as shit.
Yeah.
I just want it to be weird, not
like
something,
scared,
not
but
something that I can
overwhelmed.
see in real life.
Yeah.
Well, Narcilla was creepy, and like it was a big spider and it was fine. The only time I was like
Is
about
the
the
mouth
Narcilla
thing.
was the mandibles. So like it does this thing where it like stops and then it goes like it like shimmies for a second, then it shoots out a giant mandible here and then another one here and then just like scissors.
Yeah, it's like its mouth extends out to
Ugh.
bite you.
it's like double the size of its body.
It's like a regular thing that turns into sort of an eldritch horror type
Yeah.
situation.
It's like if
Like,
you were in
it-
front of it at all, you're fucked for a second.
Uh-huh.
It's not that bad in its own game because it wasn't the way they animated it wasn't like so perfect
But
to
you
what
feel
a
like-
spider moves.
It was more cartoony.
But I
like you
know
said.
that in
With
the
World,
world
they could do
they
it.
would get it perfect on how a spider actually moves.
Imagine, right? You're going into like a new area, or you're going into a new part of the ancient forest, and all of a sudden there's webs everywhere.
Well, I already hate
And
that
then, like-
area, and I hate that concept.
and then, like,
so
that
I would
spider
never go
comes
back to
out.
the ancient forest.
So-
I would look at the map and see the monsters that are there right now, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's here. I'm gonna wait."
I would want the one in the ancient forest to
You
be
just
paralysis.
sit emoting.
Yeah.
I would want that one to be paralysis, and I'd want the one that's in the Rotten Vale to be
That would
poisonous.
now that I'm thinking about
just
it.
different variations, like they're introducing
You
an
know-
Iceborne again.
You know what would be
Never put
cool?
it
What if?
Subspecies is
in-
What's up, guys?
What if the map changed based on what monsters are on it at a given time?
I would like that. So like
Like,
with the
say-
spider, there was like all the web stuff.
Say Devil Joe's around, right? We have like half-eaten like things around. Not half-eaten, he'll eat them. But you have like giant chunks of tree missing because he bit
Like,
it.
Yeah, then the monster,
Better
the
evidence that
monster
something's been
population-
there.
Like
Yeah.
the monster population is that, like
And
there's
they're not
not near as
necessarily
many in the area.
The giant ancient forest tree is just literally on its side.
And he's standing in the middle of
He's
it.
just roaring.
You just see a tiny pickle, just like tiny arms in the air.
And going back to that realism thing, it would make y'all happy to know that the guy who does the art for Monster Hunter World takes great joy in making the monsters look real. Like it could it could exist.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, and that's what a lot of World did was like he gave things like biological
Yeah.
like reason for that to be the way it is.
And they've always done that, but they really stuck to that in World. Like,
They've not always done that.
Well, there's been a lot of explanations for some creatures.
Yeah,
like Zenogre gets his powers from eating flash flies, and flash flies living in his fur.
Yeah, it's like a.
And
thing.
so when the dragon version of flash flies, I don't remember what they're called, get in him, he
Dragonflies.
becomes.
No,
he
I do think
becomes
that
this
they're like dragon beetles.
dragon or something like that.
Dragon
beetles.
I
to
want,
get in the
I
skin.
want a monster that has no skin. Like all you, it's immediately.
Odegarin?
Odegarin.
All you, no. All you see is its muscle structure. Like you know how if you just take all the skin off of a human, it looks horrid.
Yeah.
I want it to be like that.
You're asking for a horror game now.
Yeah, that's
all the
I like-
suggestions
yeah.
we've thrown out are
But
absolutely.
But I want all of them to be a 0.3 chance.
Work on Evolve 2.
Okay, you're okay with seeing a monster's insides with the spider?
Yeah, as I was saying.
Yeah, because
we're writing
I'm not
some
gonna go
mods.
outside and just see a man with no skin.
You will if I'm in town.
But I will see like a spider come down. And spiders are horrid. So like I don't know.
Dude, spiders are cute.
No,
I mean,
they're not.
technically close to that is Val and Odie.
Yeah, they both.
Yeah,
don't
they're
have all
Val's
their
the
skin.
closest to it. Yeah,
Can we talk about the ebony Odegarin? That's gonna be cool.
dude, I'm going to hunt
That's
the
gonna be
living
so
shit out of
cool.
Jody. Like Jody's gonna be.
Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like it's dragony, so it's like Devil Joe and Odie mixed together,
Yeah.
so it's Jody.
Jody Foster.
Make sure to bring some jerky, boys, because that's gonna be.
I don't know if it'll.
lot.
Does it still do
Jerky
laceration?
No,
Garen.
well, it does dragon like.
It ain't
You
gonna
don't
hit
need
you.
jerky for dragon.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
I don't know. I saw in a Monster Hunter World ad, they're like, make sure to bring jerky to fight this ebony Odegarin.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't do
I think-
laceration.
I mean,
it
you
still
still
has
does-
claws.
still does.
Yeah, you guys should
laceration.
already bring jerky to Odegaard.
Yeah, but now it'll do that and dragon.
Yeah,
Bite,
yeah.
So
Unless you just gotta pop a squat in the corner and pray to God.
Yeah,
I'm Dodge God.
okay,
So it'll never
Dodge
leave
God.
me.
we fought this huge Odie the other day. Like it was like twice.
Oh yeah.
Did you remember how massive that
Clifford!
was?
Yeah, I was about to say it's fucking Clifford. Also, man, Oliver's really talkative right now.
I miss I miss the the spiky boy. Who was the pine cone boy? I literally just said it earlier.
Pinecone boy.
Yeah, the pine cone dragon.
Pinhead?
Spiky boy.
Nerd?
Nergigante.
No.
Not from
Pine
World?
Cone. No, he's from the old games. Chicken pine cone.
Oh, Plesio?
No, you fucking
Shit,
don't.
you said chicken.
Yeah, because he makes like He's a hawk. Okay, hawk. He like makes hawk noises.
What game was he?
In the
Sir
last-
Regios.
Yeah, Sir
Got
Regios.
it.
Sir
Okay.
Reggie.
No.
Sir
he-
Reggie himself.
I guess he does look like a pinecone.
He does like the flare up where he like was pine cone.
Yeah, when you watch one of those things of like a pine cone budding or something
Yeah.
like that, it, like he does that in
When he
real
gets
time.
mad, his
I would like to see.
scales open.
I would love to see that in like Monster Hunter World.
I want them to bring him back because he was the because obviously the Raytheons and Ratellos are here. He was like the apex predator that hunted them.
Yeah,
So I'd like to see where they're like, yeah,
Glavenos
he followed them.
also fucked with them, at least from what I understand.
On the ground.
Yeah. Like a lot of I do like that World is like, because I mean like there are so many high end like really terrifying monsters that like World this new expansion for World is bringing in like other apexes that are like wrecking the old apexes,
Yeah.
like that gif of Glavenos just like wrecking a Diablos into the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And I like that they do that too. Like every new monster they've introduced as like new badasses in the environment, not just like we added some more ants. You know what I mean? Like nothing like they didn't add anything small.
I added 3 more
there's
ants.
3 different kinds of Vespoids now.
So back to what I was talking about earlier when y'all were talking about the clutch claw. I think as far as like hypothetical weapons I'd like to see in the game, one that I had beforehand was like a chain blade.
Sick.
Like a Kratos thing?
I don't know if I do a dual blade, but like just like a more of Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, where it's like one that you kind of dance with, like you're just spiraling.
Oh, that
and
sounds
hitting.
Yeah,
like
I was
a
actually
literal
thinking like
tripping
a-
hell.
I was thinking like a whip, like Castlevania or
So,
something.
and that's what I was going to
The
say.
new long
Is
sword.
like I was going to make the weapons
Stop
thing be
monster.
like not that you grapple or not that you like, because I had this idea in the older games where it was kind of like what the clutch claw does currently, but like it's more of a weapon as well. Like you could use it to kind of not really get range, but to where you didn't have to be absolutely on it at all times.
So it's still a melee weapon, but like it gives you plenty of range.
It has like
it
ranged
gives you
attacks.
gives
like
you a little bit of
stab attacks.
distance.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that would be another really mobile weapon.
It would look really cool because, like, if you watch people actually use chain blades and stuff, like they do all the stuff where it just wraps around their
It
body,
looks like
it's
a
just
dance.
spinning, and
Yeah.
they fucking kick the bottom like blade. It just goes flying at somebody and stabs them in the head.
So I'd want there to be like buttons that more did like a around themselves,
And that
but I'd
could-
want there to
yeah.
also be like kick the blade, like jab attack.
That can
Yeah.
even be a weapon where one of its specialities is like, because it's like kind of like a poke at range. It's a weapon that's good at like dealing a status effect.
Mhm.
So like you
Injecting
could, like you
a status
like
effect
it
or
has a
something?
coating and like you
Yeah.
hit it with a paralysis
Yeah.
and like gives an opening for the rest of the party, stuff like that.
So what if instead of that being a new weapon, it was just a variation of the chain blade, where it's like you could just have it like
A variation of
yeah.
what?
So what?
mean the
what
dual blades?
so, or the dual blades?
Yeah.
Yeah. Duh. Sorry.
Oh, so you're talking about like the dual blade sim?
Yeah, well, so
But
basically,
longer.
like, imagine if the trees expanded even more, where it's like you selected a weapon.
Are you
and
talking
could
about like subclassing the
So,
weapon?
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That'd be
what
kinda
if
cool.
they started subclassing the weapons?
I think that if they were going to do that, they would have done that with Charge Blade, because Charge Blade feels like a subclass of the Switch Axe.
I
feel like they're-
Switch axes.
No, they're
Switch axes-
definitely
Like they're
brother weapons.
Yeah,
I feel like they're different.
they're different, but
I mean they're in
Yeah,
the same
like,
category.
In my like the only thing that they have in common to me is like just the transfer.
The switch.
well, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're just in the same classification of like morphing weapons.
Oh,
I don't
okay, I
necessarily
get what you mean, I
think-
get what you
yeah.
mean.
The
And I
Bluetooth
think
files.
Because if I was gonna put the weapon that I think that would be cool in the game, which is a scythe, I would put it under the tree of like longsword.
that's what I was about to say.
See, I think it would be cool. Like my idea for bow would be to like have a short bow where it's like you're just rapid firing the whole time moving around,
Yeah,
and you could have
crossbow.
like and then you could have like a long shot where you just charge it up and it does like a fuck ton of damage to it. So I think weapon variations would be cool.
I am still on the whole like there should just be a punching weapon for Monster Hunter.
Just fists.
yeah,
yeah,
like
just
imagine
gauntlets, brass
just
knuckles,
Big gauntlets.
big metal boxing gloves. You give these monsters these hands, its mounting is like literally headlocking it and
Yeah.
punching it.
What would be cool about
That
that?
would be so cool.
The Kratos weapons that he has like a gigantic like.
Are you talking about the
Lion's
Hercules
fist.
fist?
Yeah.
the Hercules
And the
fist.
clutch claw move would be like you grapple onto and you do a Superman punch.
It'd be like a
What would be
subclass of
cool
dual
about
blades
that?
as well,
Doomfist.
because you can go into demon mode with that,
so
and just be
Doomfist.
like, oh.
That would be good because it would be like a medium to like a faster hammer.
Just go all might.
And I think it'd be cool with that because you see some dual blades that do it where the different blades have different status effects or
or a
elements.
Yeah.
But you could do it with that, and it'd be a little bit stronger. Where that's like the special thing.
It
You
will
can
be
equip a
like-
special element to each.
It'd be like dual blades, but it does bludgeoning.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe to make it set apart from it, right?
That's hilarious.
That'd fuck a monster up.
Yeah, that's the KO King. Fuck the hammer. It's
Oh,
on
yeah.
his hands.
Dude, I 100%.
Just using a Raytheon's chin as a
When
speed
you do your
bag.
slide move, your guy just jumps up and he's like, "Oh no!" Fucking
And
Superman.
what if I set it apart from the other weapons even more, like giving a niche thing of like the more damage that the more like the lower your health is, like the higher its attack is.
So like the weapon kind of has like what's it called? Is it rage? Is that
No,
the,
it's called
Heroics.
Yeah, it's called heroics. Yeah.
So if it kind of like had
Heroics.
heroics built into it.
Without having the red portion be a thing.
I saw.
I like more weapons with like little things built onto them, like they've kind of been doing a little bit.
I saw.
Oh, there's like
should be
the
using
Lunestra
that.
weapons, like the Lunestra weapon trees.
Yeah.
Those 3 weapons all have a specific
set bonus.
set bonus thing attached to them. Like, so if you make a weapon that is Xenojiva and Lunestra,
yeah.
it always has
Spare shot.
Yeah,
spare
right,
shot
there's like
or-
Lunestra.
or razor shot.
No, like there's Lunestra and Nurg, I think.
which always has hasten recovery.
And then guts. Sick.
That reminds me. I saw a D&D weapon today. It was a homebrew. It was called Thoughts and Prayers, but it was knuckles. It was brass knuckles, and it had like runes on them. And one of them did like psychic damage, and one of them did radiant damage.
Oh my
I was like, that's
God.
an interesting weapon.
That is really
funny.
That's
So,
incredible.
Again, I love the idea of like doing that fast of bludgeoning damage to a monster's face.
I mean, if it did
Maybe
less
it had
bludgeoning
like
than a hammer, obviously.
yeah,
it's
well,
a
if
balance.
it just procced it at the same amount Dual Blades already
Kinda.
do with
Yeah, yeah.
slicing.
Yeah.
Also, what if it had like how the sword and shield has like that charge like jump and then climb the monster?
Mhm.
Instead of climbing the monster and coming down on it, what if it was that kind of move, but it was like an uppercut?
That's what I was about to say.
It
is
did
it's a-
more stun damage to the jaw.
So it was like a combo where the end thing was an uppercut, and then it brought it back down.
yeah,
You know what I think would be cool? I've just been over here trying to think of like a neat
Capcom,
concept.
do it.
Like some sort of like. The only kind of visual I can think of is kind of like a Bloodborne-esque weapon, where it's like a pistol and a weapon of some sort.
So like a gunslinger type of deal.
Yeah, but like a gun and weapon.
Yeah.
So where you have melee and gun,
That
you like
weapon would be
you kind
made
of
for
combo
you.
them both together.
Would
so
you
have like
rather it
ranged
be
attacks.
a bludgeoning weapon or like a cutting weapon?
I think that would be
A
like,
cutting
if it could swap.
because guns don't have cutting.
What if it could swap kind of
But
like
they'd
the
be confusing.
No, I'm talking about because are you saying two guns or one
No,
gun?
one
and
gun
a sword?
and a sword.
Yeah.
One gun and a sword.
So
or
would you want it to be a
hammer.
sword or a club, or would you want that to be something you could change? Because like with the beetles on the
Yeah, you can
insects,
change the
you can
damage,
change
yeah.
whether it does slicing or whether it does.
That would be
bludgeoning.
dope.
It could
That would
be a blade in one hand and like in Bloodborne a blunderbuss because spread ammo actually does stun damage.
Yeah. So
like
if it
knockout
did that,
damage.
yeah,
That would be really dope.
that'd be kind of
You
cool.
just have
Yeah.
an Onigashi out on the side.
Or if literally all the gun did, like you could do the blunderbuss thing that like did the KO damage, or you could do where it's just like a pure blast of like an element.
Or maybe
an
like
element.
if we're going into like really heavy upgrading, like you can upgrade the weapon to do different things,
Mhm.
and you can also upgrade the gun. Like say the gun maybe shoots one, maybe 2 types of ammo, but you can customize what kinds of ammo it shoots. So like
Yeah.
maybe your little handgun only shoots like normal and spread, or like piercing and an element damage.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
I want on a subclass of like sword and shield maybe. Actually no. Yeah. Okay. So take off the shield and only have a
Sword. A bit old
For
baby
another
dagger.
sword.
a rapier.
Ooh.
There isn't. Yeah, there's not like a
I
standard
want
class.
one
I guess the
so
closest
bad.
would be.
That's one of my favorite
There is
weapons
a standard
ever.
class.
Well, that's what I was
Sword.
about to say. I guess the closest would be the.
Would it be like a weapon that's like big in
Yeah.
counterplay
Hmm?
because it's a rapier?
Yeah.
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 Counterplay and it's just like fast.
I'd
Really.
like
So it'd be
that
like
shit
a
out of
fast.
that.
Because isn't the longsword about countering?
A little
Yeah,
bit.
but like I feel like that's a little. I wouldn't put it in that category.
Well, no, that's what I was about to say. It would be
Yeah.
kind of like that, where the countering is more important and where it does faster.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay, that'd be really
totally
cool.
This would just be emphasizing that.
I just
Yeah.
realized the weapons we've just listed off, the past 4 have been just.
Yeehaw, brother!
That's
Hell
pretty
yeah,
funny. They're all the main weapons of the cast of Ruby. So you
yeah.
got the scythe,
Yeah.
I don't
the
watch
gun,
that
I
show.
don't
the
either,
gun
yeah.
sword, the fists,
Well, that's a sword that
and
is a
now
gun,
the rapier.
too.
I mean,
Oh yeah, Weiss. I forgot about that.
man, weird.
Right.
Shout out to that show.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. What the heck?
Yeah,
That's
how
crazy.
do we do that?
I don't even know.
We have
I mean,
a
Oliver's was a
secretly
little bit
B
different.
Ruby.
Oliver's was a little bit different. Oh fuck! It's kind of like the fucking chain, because like
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
like fucking ribbons attached
Oh
to
my
this
god.
shit. What the fuck? A video version we'll see.
What if we had paintball guns? No, Jared, I'm surprised you haven't
Remember
with all these-
paintballs? Wait, remember? I just remember that was a
paintballs.
thing.
Yeah.
What if we had dual deagles?
No,
Only if they're
Dual
gold.
gun.
Jared, with all the spooky shit you were throwing out there, I'm surprised you didn't throw out like a proton pack.
A what?
Fucking Ghostbusters ass weapon.
Oh,
You were like, we're gonna have nightmare creatures and ghosts.
dude, I just had a
Ghostbusters
moment of like
appearance.
deja vu when you said that because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've heard this before.
What is a proton pack?
I'm here.
Am I missing something?
Yeah,
is that an
yeah,
Elon
yeah.
Musk device?
But whenever you use the pack, it has to play.
Busted makes me feel good.
Just that. Over and over.
Bustin'.
I don't know. Can you think of anything else?
An axe under hammer.
An axe under hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Please
I would-
elaborate. What?
War axe under hammer.
Oh, more axe under hammer.
War
axe.
War
axe.
axe.
Okay, I was hearing.
So
war
it's like
axe.
it's basically pretty much the same as hammer, but it looks like you know how the Valhazak hammer looks like a big
so it's
axe.
like
It's kind of like
chunky.
hammer, but instead it deals slicing damage and stuff.
They could do a variant to the glaive that's more not air based, not where you're flying around, but it's like more of a bow staff. So it
Yeah.
does more. It does like blunt damage instead of slicing damage.
Yeah.
So it's like dunk, dunk, dunk in the head a couple times, and he's like, oh, "Stop it!"
Oh,
Stop
it can be that one staff that people use where it's 3 different sticks connected by 2 chains in there,
Mhm.
and they move around like that. and
It's
it
a
does-
nunchuck.
Yeah,
No,
almost.
I know,
Almost.
I
You
know.
know,
We
yeah.
need nunchucks.
It's
Nunchucks
the,
would be fun. That'd be a fun dual blade, like blunt dual blades, bludgeon dual blades.
Why are you looking at her gun?
I was gonna show all.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
I love me a bitch who knows how to carry a gun.
Right.
Gratata.
Hell yeah, brother.
Man, as far as like monsters that really haven't ever been a thing, I mean, the giant, anything off a giant bug, like a giant scorpion monster, would be really cool.
I
to
was
fight.
literally about to say that earlier.
I don't think they've done a scorpion or anything like that.
I'm still on board with the butterfly caterpillar thing.
Butterfly
That
thing's
sounds
cool.
really cool.
What about you, Giles? I don't think you've thrown any in out there,
I-
have you?
Throughout armadillo way exists.
Yeah, that exists already. So
Maybe-
you're dumb.
Maybe
Well-
burrowing added to it.
Have they had a giant ant?
No,
The
there's not
biggest
been an
ant.
ant. There's been ants in the game, but there's not been like giant ants.
How would you feel about like just on that thought? How would you feel about like doing a hunt where like the monster was like a bunch of like maybe Jagger
colony?
sized like a colony of ants, like a bunch of Jagger sized
What?
ants.
Yeah.
Jagger sized.
And they almost like did things fluidly together like a monster would attack.
The way they
you.
could introduce
But it
that
was,
one where
like,
it would
multiple.
be cool is if it were like fucking up that big tree in the ancient forest. If it
What?
was like killing, because there's ants that like will set up their nests in trees and it'll like
Yeah.
kill it.
They're fucking
Uh,
huge
what?
too
Yeah.
in real life. Like they're
Actually,
huge.
I
So
thought
it'd be cool if that were like a thing where it's like these are attacking the tree.
I got one. What if it was just a giant, like, goo monster that
That's what he
changed
threw out.
changed elements, like changed abnormal status effect
Well, we've got there was
based on its
the
color,
so
like
there
a
was,
muck.
There was a monkey that used to eat. It would eat
Yeah,
like peppers,
I remember
and then
that,
it would
yeah.
get fire breath, or it would
This
eat,
could work in the same sense.
or it would eat mushrooms, and then it would have poison.
He would also fart on you.
He would fart, and then you could not use your items.
I shitted on you.
And that, yeah, that was for
You'd
some
have to use
reason.
deodorant.
That was for some reason how that worked. You
Yeah.
got shitted on, and then you couldn't use.
You
it
couldn't
in
use your items unless you had
Grossed
deodorant.
out.
Well, they're all covered in poop, so you don't want to touch them.
I got poop on my hands.
Oh no,
I got shit potion, bro.
that shit hurted.
That shit hurted.
Um,
I was about to fucking say it.
I
No,
wish they.
didn't.
This is just going back to monsters. I wish they'd bring back. Is the Celtus, because that armor set looked like a Gurren Lagann mech.
Oh yeah. No, the Celtus. Yeah, again, big bugs.
Yeah,
Bring back my big bugs.
I want big bugaboos.
Yeah.
Is there a genuine like cat monster? I mean, there's monsters that have like cat qualities to
I
them.
don't think so.
Yeah, so have we had like an actual tiger monster?
Well, I don't just want to fight a tiger.
We haven't had
No,
like a
that's-
giant
that's-
furry
just
creature.
give us a
cat-like
tiger.
creature.
I would
That's
love
it.
that. You're in the forest and they're like, "What the
Just a
fuck is
tiger."
that?" They're like, "That's a lion."
It's
And they're
like
like, "Am I supposed to
They
be
can-
scared of a lion?"
They can make
It's like-
make something akin to like a displacer beast, if you know what that.
That
looks
would
like.
be
It's
cool.
just like a panther, like alien creature. With,
But it like went
multiple legs.
invisible, like the old Nargacuga did,
Or
Yeah.
it blinked.
or a blink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Dauntless, there's a creature that has the ability to turn like invisible. Like, has there been a monster like that in Monster Hunter yet?
Yeah, Nargacuga had
the
a
lucid
there was a-
Nargacuga.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the chameleon.
Yeah, there's the
Like,
chameleon
I
from the
was
old
Oh yeah,
ones.
bring me back my chameleon boy.
He's in Generation.
Bring me the chameleon boy to the game we all play.
So, fuck. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it could be. They could pull like an Avatar: The Last Airbender thing, where everything's like a combined of two animals. Then they get to like, what was it? Bossing Say is like.
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
there's a bear. Yeah, so it's like
I
all
didn't
these
have the
fantasy
bear.
creatures, and it's just like it's just a tiger.
Yeah, so we get just a big tiger.
Just a
I didn't have the money for it
It's
when I was in
called
Florida,
Tiger.
but I went to that box launch place
Uh-huh.
and they had a T-shirt in there that just had like all of Avatar's like animal mixes just all over it.
Oh,
Just
that's
had all the different ones, and I was like,
adorable.
oh,
That's
it
adorable.
was like
Turtle
cool.
ducks.
Yeah, it had like
They're
those on
great.
it and everything.
Turtle ducks.
I want a
platypus
pissed off
bears.
penguin.
Was there?
Like
there
he
was a
doesn't look
penguin.
like he doesn't
There
look
was a
like
penguin.
anything in the world. He just looks like a
Ooh.
normal, hyper realistic penguin,
know.
and he's pissed.
With blood eyes.
You know who I want
Yeah,
them to
with
bring
blood
back?
eyes.
You know who they could really bring back?
What?
If they want the Jagras to like stay kind of relevant, but not anymore, they could, as an ice variant, they could bring back the big shark.
Yeah, that's actually
The
one
Meg.
that the
Well, no,
Zamtrios. Zamtrios.
Yeah,
street
they had
sharks.
they had a shark that was literally just the Jagras. It did the same shit pretty much.
Oh, he got big. Yeah,
Yeah.
But he was
would roll
structured
around
different. He
and
had
stuff.
he had 4 prominent limbs, and like he wasn't long as he was like
I remember the
he like
first
creaked
time.
around, kind of like
I feel like they walked pretty similar.
not when they were not really not from
Really?
what I'm remembering.
No.
Either way, yeah, he did expand and got real
The
silly
shark had
looking.
the 4 legs and
Yeah,
walked
but
around
like
the same way.
he wasn't long. He stood up higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he was
kind of
more-
walked like the girl in like The Grudge.
I mean, like it's a different shape, but it's like the similar. It's like the same kind of like concept of it gets big.
yeah, I see what connection
Ratchets.
you're making.
Yeah,
But I mean, this being the new ice place, a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, "That's coming back."
they could just
we
make
haven't
him,
seen it.
They
yet.
could just make him bigger. They could
Yeah.
give him the same structure though.
I remember the first time like I ever fought him, and he just seemed like this terrifying thing, and then he
He was cool. I like
he
him.
just breathed in a lot of air and became a giant rolling ball shark.
He's
and
like, imagine straight sharks.
But a dog.
Now imagine he puts ice armor on himself. Terrifying.
Can we get tunnel snakes in Monster Hunter?
Tunnel snakes rule.
They do.
I'd kill Butch, bro.
Yeet it on.
And I'd rail his mom. Nuh-uh.
Whoa.
Dude, that rat roach railed his mom, dude.
And that was real rad of him.
All right, dude.
Man,
Goddamn.
you wish you shouldn't have taken my sweet.
That
ball
red
now.
roach was like, your son failed the goat. You're gonna have to take his punishment.
I know
Stepdaddy Rad Roach, can I get some lunch money?
No, son.
Anyways.
okay. I think we're getting pretty close to time, so I hope you enjoyed our nerdy talk with some unnecessary stats and shit. So thank you for listening. Well, yeah.
Sorry. I forgot we were recording. I needed to clear my throat.
That's
and then I was
staying in. We're not getting rid of that.
I needed to clear my throat, and then for some reason in my head I was like, he's already done the outro. Really loud.
He said bye.
He said bye. We're gone.
No, I didn't
that's
say
what
bye
happened
yet.
in my head.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't say bye.
He said that's it, and then in my head I was like, all right.
Okay.
It's,
Now I'm
it's
saying
cool,
bye.
I'm cool to be loud.
Bye.
Bye.